With JR coming to you live from my house, I want to give you my review of it. Let me start first off by saying I love this movie. It was great. It did everything that I needed to do. It paid homage to the original. It incorporated stuff from the book, and it was a standalone movie on its own. But first off, let me tell you the one thing about this movie that you need to know going into it is that it's not really a scary movie. Yeah, there's horror elements, which I loved, but it plays more on the mind. It's very creepy and eerie, very old school Stephen King ish from back in the 80s and the 70s with some of his original movies that came out, like The Shining or Creep Show. Everyone in this movie plays their part perfectly. Each of the kids brings something different to the dynamic of their group, and then Pennywise has tried to make something completely original from what Tim Curry did in the original back in the early 90s, late 80s, which I love because that performance is pretty much iconic. Everyone knows certain lines from that movie. But this character now, there's an evilness to him that wasn't really there with Tim Curry's. It was more campy and funny. This one, there's a legitimate fear behind it. You see that this clown has malcontent towards these kids and what's going on, and you understand that they have to defeat this thing or it's going to keep coming back and hurting people, and it's just going to lead to more and more death. But the main focus of this movie isn't even really that. It's the fact that it's a coming of age story. There's a lot of deep undertones and metaphors in this movie that I loved. These kids have to do something that's very adult in nature and taking on this beast, this evil incarnate, so that it can't hurt anyone else. This is something that the adults should have found out or should be taken care of. But because they're like 12 going on 13 or just a little bit older, they're at this area where they're not quite kids, they're not quite adults. And the whole idea of it being a clown, they have to put away childish things to focus on more adult things and defeat this creature was truly intriguing to me. I loved how they portrayed that and how they portrayed the relationships between all the characters. I would have liked a little bit more backstory with some of the characters, but they make up for it when you understand what their fears are and what's happening to them. And in certain scenes, the crowd I was with just erupted with either laughter, because there is a lot of humor in this movie, or straight fear. Like people were screaming and yelling. And there's one scene in particular that I know a lot of people are going to be like, holy crap, what the heck just happened? This scene, there's not any of the previews, so you won't be expecting it. And when you see it, you're going to be like, okay, that was new. That was original, which I really liked. So in closing, I highly recommend going to see this movie in the theater. You will love seeing it. I know for a fact I'll be buying it when it comes out, and I can't wait for part 2 to come out. So this is your boy Jay, aka DMAJR, letting you know now, go see it. Please go see this movie. Oh yeah, one more thing. Almost forgot. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought of the movie, if you loved it, if you hated it, if you liked the original more, if you like this one more. I always like to get into a good discussion with anyone about movies, especially ones like this that are from my childhood and very nostalgic to me. So I'll see you all next time. Peace.